Hi, this is going to be a quick video to show you how to do multiplication using the lattice method. Okay, and we are going to start with doing this sum. 42 times 23. Okay, so if we look at this, we've got a 2-digit number multiplied by another 2-digit number. And we're going to draw a box to put our calculations in that is 2 by 2. So I'm going to draw it bigger. I'm going to do 8 across and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 down. I'm going to draw a box like that, and then I'm going to split it into 2 in half both ways, like so. And then the last thing we're going to do is put some diagonal lines through it. So you're going to have a diagonal going there, the diagonal from the bottom right through to the top corner, and a last one from here to here. So that is what your box is going to look like. And you can just sketch it freehand. I am not very good on here doing that, but you can just do a box like so without having to worry about a ruler. Okay, but we're going to use this neater box to demonstrate. Right, so once you've got your box, we're going to put the digits around it. I think I'll just move this over a little bit. That's better. So we're going to put 42 at the top, and we're going to put 23 down the side. And now we're going to just multiply bit by bit, ensuring that we're multiplying every digit by every digit. In this first box, we're going to be doing 4 and 2. Think of it a bit like the multiplication square. You take a number from the column and you take a number from the row, and where they meet is your answer. So we're going to do 4 times 2, which is 8, and the tens will go in the top box and the units in the bottom, and where there aren't any tens, I'm going to put a 0. So 4 times 2 is 8, so I'm going to put 0 at the top and 8 at the bottom. Okay, let's move along to here, and here we'd be doing 2 times 2, which is 4, so we're going to put a 0 at the top and a 4 at the bottom. Moving down to this box, we're going to be doing 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12, so we're going to have a 1 at the top and a 2 at the bottom. And then finally, we've got 2 times 3, which is 6, so we're going to put a 0 at the top and a 6 at the bottom. And that's all our multiplication taken care of. I'm now going to change colour. I'm going to go to a green. And what we're going to do now is the adding part of the sum. We're going to add together all these multiplications that we've done. And this is how we do it. So we use the diagonals here. So if I look at this diagonal, and below it is a 6. So I'm going to put that there. I move to the next diagonal. And in this diagonal, I've got 4, 0, 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. So we're going to have a 6 there. I'm going to draw in my next diagonal. And I'm going to look at the numbers below it. And I've got 180, which is 9. And then we just look in the final digit, which is above the diagonal we've just coloured in, and we've got a 0, so we don't need to worry about that. So this is our answer, 966. So we can say 42 times 23 is 966. But while you're practicing, what will hopefully make you feel more confident is just checking it on a calculator as you go. So 42 times 23, and fingers crossed when we click equals, we get 966. We can put a big fat tick against that, and we can know we've done it right. Okay, so let's try another. I'm going to draw a box, but I'm not going to worry too much now about accuracy, as long as it looks more or less right. There's my diagonal. Okay, and I think what I'll do is I'll copy this so that we can go on and do a couple more. And what you should do, if you feel confident, you can pause the video and have a go yourself and then just watch it back to make sure you've got it right. Or if you're not ready to yet, just stay with me and we'll do another one together. So let's do 35 times by 24. I'm keeping the digits quite low at the moment, so we're not having to do too many difficult multiplications, but you can practice as much as you like with different numbers. Okay, so let's put a 3 there, 5 there for our 35, a 2 there, and a 4 there for our 24. And if you want to have a go yourself, just pause and try it out. Okay, so 3 times 2 is 6, 0 at the top, 6 at the bottom. 5 times 2 is 10, so 1 at the top, 0 at the bottom. 3 times 4 is 12, that's going in this box, so 1 at the top, 2 at the bottom. And then finally, 5 at the top, 4 to the side, and that's going to give us 20, which is 2 and a 0. Now I did that quite quickly, but you can take as long as you need. Okay, let's change colour and work out what the answer will be. So here's our first diagonal, and below it we have 0. I'm going to colour in that diagonal, and within these two we have 2, 2 and 0, so that's 4. Here's our next diagonal, and we've got a 1, 6 and a 1. 6 plus 1 is 8. And once again, above it, we've got a 0. So our answer is 840. Let's get the calculator out and check. 35 times 24 is 840. Brilliant. So we can put a tick and move on. So I'm going to do a bit bigger numbers here, and I'm going to go at some pace, but just pause any time you want to slow it down and try it out yourself. Okay, so let's try 67 times 48. Okay, so I'm going to put a 6 above that, 7 there, a 4 here, and an 8 here. And then I'm going to start filling in my boxes. 6 times 4 is 24. So we're going to have a 2 at the top and a 4 at the bottom. 7 times 4 is 28. So I'm going to put a 2 at the top and an 8 at the bottom. Now, if you're finding this more difficult, because if we're multiplying by 4, you could just multiply by 2 and double it. So you could think, well, I know 6 times 2 is 12. If I double that, I get 24. Here you could think, I know 7 times 2 is 14. If I double it, I get 28. Okay, so now we've got into harder number. We're going to look at 8. So we're doing 6 times 8, which is 48. And then finally 7 times 8, which is thought of as the hardest multiplication for a single digits. And 7 eighths are 56. Now, if you are someone who struggles with your tables, give yourself more simple numbers to work with. So stick with 20s, 30s, and then you can build it up as you get more confident. Okay, let's go for our diagonals. So here's our first, and underneath that we have a 6. Let's colour in this one. Of course, you don't have to do this colouring in. This is just so that I'm making it stand out a bit more. And we've got 8, 5, 8. So I'd do 8 plus 8 is 16. Add 5 and we get 21. So what we would need to do here is we're going to put the 1 here and we're going to carry the 10s over to here. I'm just going to put it there. And remember, what you could do, you could put it in there if it helps, whatever it makes more sense to you. And then I'm going to get rid of that though, because we don't want to confuse it. And then we're going to add up the numbers in here. So we've got 4 and 4 is 8. 8 and 2 is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. So I'm going to put the 2 and I'm going to carry the 1 to the next diagonal. And then I'm going to say 2 plus 1 is 3. And that's my answer. So it should equal 3,216. Let's get the calculator out and try it. 3,216. Great. Okay, I'm just going to do one more. And what I'm going to do is go back to using more simple numbers so that you can build up this skill of understanding the lattice without having to focus on difficult sums. So let's do 21 times 32. Pause the video, have a go, and then play it when you're ready. Okay, so we're going to put 2 and a 1, a 3 and a 2, and then I'm going to fill in these boxes. And by the way, you can fill these boxes in any order you want to. You're always going to get the same answer. So might start from this corner. 1 times 2 is 2. 0 at the top, 2 at the bottom. Let's go up to here. We've got 1 times 3, which is 3. 0 at the top, 3 at the bottom. Moving over to here, we've got 2 times 2, which is 4. 0 at the top, 4 at the bottom. And then finally, we've got 2 times 3, which is 6. 0 at the top, 6 at the bottom. Okay, let's do our diagonals. I've swapped colours over. So there's the first diagonal, and below it we have a 2. Here's my next diagonal, and here I've got a 4 and a 3 and a 0, which is 7. Next diagonal, and we've got 0, 6, 0, which gives us 6. And then looking above this diagonal, we've got a 0, so we don't need to worry about that. We could write it there if we wanted to, but our answer is going to be 672. Okay, I hope that's been useful. Oh, should we quickly check our answer before I finish? Okay, so we've got 21 times 32, which is 672. Great, so that is correct. Have a go at them. The good thing about these is if you have a calculator, even if you don't have a calculator, if you have a phone, you can use the calculator on your phone. You can just practice this and check your answers as you're going. Okay, good luck with that. End of the video.